Hello friends, today we shall talk about URR, an important component of settlement payment for international trade. URR is Uniform Rules for Reimbursements. The full name is Uniform Rules for Bank-to-Bank Reimbursements. It's a guidance note published by the National Chamber of Commerce under reference number 785, and the latest version is effective 1st October 2008. The previous version is called URR 525 and it was effective 1st July 1996. We are discussing an important component of settlement of international trade payments. URR is applicable in situations where an LC says it is subject to URR 725. Therefore, when the MT 740 is sent, it is automatically subject to URR 525. We will talk about the reimbursement authorization. We will talk about the reimbursement claim, how the payments will be made, what are the concepts related to charges. We will also look at certain fundamentals and basics. URR is applicable to all parties, which is binding on the transaction when the LC says the reimbursement is subject to URR. Reimbursing is the bank who will reimburse, who is acting on the instructions and authority of the issuing bank. Reimbursing bank is the bank to whom the claiming bank sends the claim. Issuing bank is the bank that has issued the LC and thereafter had issued the reimbursement authorization to the reimbursing bank. URR is binding on all parties, that is, the issuing bank, the reimbursing bank, and the claiming nominated bank. Claiming bank is the bank who is the beneficiary bank of the LC. Claiming bank is the bank authorized to claim reimbursement under the reimbursement authorization. The expiry date of the LC has no impact on the reimbursement authorization. Reimbursement authorization by itself has no expiry date. Also, there can be no expiry date for presentation of a claim. The reimbursement authorization is totally independent of the LC. The terms of the LC are not applicable to the reimbursement authorization. The reimbursement authorization is an end-to-end, complete, independent document. The reimbursing bank is not obligated to honor except as provided in the URR. Just because a bank has received a reimbursement authorization does not mean that bank has to honor the claim received from the claiming bank. It's a duty of the issuing bank to provide all benefits to the beneficiary and their claiming bank, nominated negotiating bank in the form of LC, and to the reimbursing bank in the form of reimbursement authorization. The other things to remember in this connection is that all loss of interest or loss of value claims will have to be settled between the claiming bank and the issuing bank. Reimbursing bank has no liability for delay or loss due to the transmission errors. Reimbursing bank has no liability in case of any force majeure, because of which they are not able to honor the claim. The issuing bank has to indemnify the reimbursing bank for the impact of foreign loss it subsidies. Let us look at what a reimbursement authorization is. Reimbursement authorization must not be a copy of the DC. It should be a separate instruction and information given by the issuing bank to the reimbursing bank. It has to state the documentary credit number, the currency and amount payable, additional amounts payable if any, who will claim, who is authorized to claim under the reimbursement authorization, charges are to whose account. Reimbursing bank has to get back to the issuing bank in case they are not willing to act as per the reimbursement authorization. A copy of the DC or multiple reimbursement authorizations or a mail confirmation of an tele-transmitted reimbursement authorization will be ignored by the reimbursing bank. The reimbursement authorization can be by an authenticated teletransmission, and that will be considered as complete operative instrument. All instructions has to be complete and precise, and failure to do so, the issuing bank will have to face the liabilities. A certificate of compliance with the documentary credit terms shall not be asked by the reimbursing bank from the claiming bank to honor a claim. In case a pre-notification of a claim or a pre-debit notifications are required, then they are not part of the reimbursement authorization. Issuing bank has to keep posted the reimbursing bank as well as the nominated bank in case of any changes in or amendment to or cancellation of the reimbursement authorization. The reimbursement claim. The reimbursement claim has to be normally in the form of daily transmission. Inability to honor reimbursement claim has also to be in the form of expeditious means. It's not necessary it has to be authenticated, but in case a reimbursing bank requests and insists it has to be authenticated, then any loss or penalty resulting due to this requirement shall be borne by the issuing bank, and claiming bank shall try to send an authenticated message to claim the funds to reimbursing bank. In case drafts are called for, the drafts have to mention the goods or the service, the description. It should also say the place and date of the shipment and the country of origin of goods. Normally, drafts at site on reimbursing bank is not called for. Only in case of usance transaction, tenor drafts have to accompany. The reimbursement claim has to indicate the documented date number, the details of the claiming bank, and the reference number of the issuing bank and reimbursing bank, if any available. The reimbursement claim has to state the exact principal amount, additional amounts claimed, and charges if any claimed. The reimbursement claim, multiple claims should not be sent in one message. The claim should not be a copy of negotiation advice or a bill handling advice given to the beneficiary under the LC. The reimbursement claim should comply with the terms and conditions of the irrevocable reimbursement undertaking, if any, given by the reimbursing bank to the claiming bank. The reimbursement claim should specify the predetermined reimbursement date, the value date of the claim, the date of payment expected. The reimbursement claim must not be a copy of payment advice. How payments will be made under the URR? Let us see a little bit about this. The payments will have to be made by the reimbursing bank within 3 banking days after the receipt of the acceptable pay, a complete and proper claim. Additional time for pre-debit notification for the issuing bank, if any required, is in addition to this 3 days. If the claim cannot be honored, the claiming bank and issuing bank has to be notified by an expeditious communication. No reason shall be given for not honoring a claim except if the discrepancy with respect to irrevocable reimbursement undertaking terms and conditions are identified. Back validating of the claim is normally not done. The value date of the claim has to be within 10 days of the claim. So, if a claim is sent more than 10 days in advance of the date of payment expectation, then such claims might be disregarded by the reimbursing bank. Payments are made only to the claiming bank. Non-reimbursement notice shall be given on future reimbursement date or within 3 banking days from the date of receipt of claim. In case the value date of claim is on a holiday, the payment might be made on the next day. What is a reimbursement undertaking? A reimbursement undertaking is an additional undertaking given by the reimbursing bank to the claiming bank at the request and the authorization of the issuing bank. On receipt of reimbursement undertaking, the nominated bank will have the comfort to add confirmation to the LC. If a time draft is called for, the tenor, drawer, who will pay the acceptance discounting parties, these details should be there in the reimbursement undertaking. Technically, reimbursement authorization should have these details so that the reimbursement undertaking will carry these details to the claiming bank. In the irrevocable reimbursement undertaking from the reimbursing bank to the claiming bank, the documentary credit number, the currency, the amount, additional amounts payable, charges are to whose account, and other details. The time period available for presentation of claim, expiry date of the undertaking if any, what is the usance period in case a draft is to be required, who are the parties on the draft, and who will pay the charges, etc. has to be mentioned in the IRU, irrevocable reimbursement undertaking. Unless a DC issuing bank authorizes a request, the reimbursing bank shall not issue an reimbursement undertaking. Reimbursing bank to revert to the issuing bank in case they are not willing to issue an IRU. The claiming bank to revert to the reimbursing bank in case the IRU is not acceptable. The last day for presentation of a claim under the reimbursement undertaking will be extended to the first following working day in case that day falls on a holiday. Reimbursing bank need not accept or reject an irreversible reimbursement authorization until and unless the claiming bank reverts to the amendment or cancellation request to the relevant respective reimbursement undertaking, which means every time an reimbursement authorization is amended, the related reimbursement undertaking might be amended by the reimbursing bank and shall await the nominated bank to revert on the same. IRA cannot be cancelled until and unless the claiming bank agrees to cancellation of IRU. Reimbursing bank may amend its IRU to reflect the terms in the changes in the reimbursement authorization. If a time draft is called for, the tenor, drawer, who will pay the charges, all these details will have to be mentioned in the reimbursement undertaking. Charges. With regard to charges, reimbursing bank charges are to the account of issuing bank, normally and by default. If there is any change to this, it has to be mentioned by the issuing bank on the IRA as well as on the DC. That is, if the charges are to beneficiary's account, the documentary credit as well as the reimbursement authorization should explicitly state so. Reimbursing bank will follow the reimbursement authorization with regards to the payments of charges claimed. All charges paid by the reimbursing bank to the claiming bank is in addition to the principal value allowed in reimbursement authorization. If issuing bank fails to provide reimbursing bank instruction on charges, then issuing bank will be liable for all such charges. If charges are to another party's account, then such charges will be deducted from the reimbursement proceeds payable to the claiming bank. In case no claim is received, such charges will be claimed by the reimbursing bank from the issuing bank. Swift messages are normally used to issue a reimbursement authorization, to amend it, or to make a claim. MT747 is the reimbursement authorization amendment, MT740 being the reimbursement authorization. In case of making a claim, the claiming bank sends an MT742 to the reimbursing bank. So, we have seen some basic fundamentals of uniform rules for bank-to-bank reimbursements. We have seen how the payments are made, who is liable for the charges, what is the reimbursement authorization, what is the reimbursement claim, what is the reimbursement undertaking, and also some other fundamentals. Thanks for watching the video. We shall meet again with another topic another day. Goodbye.